Today we are in session 2.4. It's called When Substances Take Over. And the passage we're focusing on is Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 21. Here's our main point. Only God's Holy Spirit should dictate our thoughts and actions. As God's children, we're called to live, as we know very well, right? We're called to live in obedience to Him. However, sometimes we aren't certain of His will, and we may not necessarily be sure of the things that He's calling us to. Now, there are certain things that seem really, really clear. We can look back at the Ten Commandments. Don't lie. That's clear. There's never going to be any question about that. But other questions that we have that are real and immediate in our lives at times, like where should I go to college for your students? Or how far can I go and not sin? Or who should I date? Who should I marry? Like the Bible speaks very clearly and explicitly about certain things, but those things aren't there in the Bible. Paul gives us a couple of examples that helps us understand how we are to live in God's will. First, he says, don't be drunk with wine. The Bible is very clear that it's sin, it's wrong. It's explicitly in there that to drink alcohol to a point that we're drunk, it's just wrong. We shouldn't even come close to that. But on the other hand, God says, instead be filled with the Spirit. What these have to do with is the issue of control or influence in our lives. When we allow ourselves to be influenced by alcohol, when we allow ourselves, honestly, to be influenced by anything that's worldly and would cause us to depart from living in obedience to God, it's wrong. Alcohol is just a symbol of that or an expression of that. But a lot of times we give ourselves to control or to habits or patterns or addictions even that would draw us away from God and into worldly living. And we can trust every one of these things lead us away from God's will in our lives. On the other hand, when we're controlled by when we're controlled by the Holy Spirit, our lives naturally overflow with the fruit of the Spirit. We look at Galatians 5, love, joy, peace, patience. You guys know the list. If you don't, look it up. But, our old nature inclines us towards sin, to being controlled by worldly things. But our new nature, when we're transformed, when we come to faith in Jesus and we're made as new creations, we have a brand new nature, which then inclines us naturally to live according to the Spirit which controls us. It's found in our words, it's found in our actions, but really it boils down to our attitudes. Here's the